Colossians 4:10, Aristarchus, my fellow prisoner, greets you, and Mark, the cousin of Barnabas, concerning whom you have received instructions. If he comes, welcome him. All right, this is super cool. Aristarchus, we do not know too much about him. We know here that he is a fellow prisoner. So the assumption is he's actually in prison with Paul. So Aristarchus, he's literally a fellow prisoner with Paul, and he greets him. So Aristarchus, he's a prisoner with me, he greets you. And then, this is where it gets really cool. And then Mark, the cousin of Barnabas, and then what it says, concerning whom you have received instructions. If he comes to you, welcome him. Now, why is this so important? Why would Paul send all of these instructions about Mark, who's Barnabas's cousin? All right, for us to understand this, we need to realize that Barnabas was a traveling companion with Paul. In fact, Barnabas was very influential in having Paul be received in Jerusalem. So we have Barnabas, and then God called out Barnabas and Paul to be sent off. And then in Acts 12, we see in Acts 12, John Mark goes along with Paul and Barnabas on one of their missions trips. So we have on one of their missionary journeys, Acts 12, John Mark goes along with them. However, in Acts 15, they split up. Paul does not want to take Mark with him because he felt like Mark had abandoned them. That's what he says. Mark abandoned them. So they split up. And that looks like, man, that could be the end of it. There we go. Paul is going to hold a grudge against Mark because Mark wasn't there. Mark left. But what somehow, because of here, not just here, but also in 2 Timothy 4:11, there's reconciliation has been made. Mark is now like back in good graces with Paul. They've reconciled. They're together. They are co-workers in the kingdom. So in 2 Timothy 4:11, he says, he's writing to Timothy, he says, bring Mark to me because he is good for the ministry. So that's really cool. We get to see that reconciliation taking place so that Paul and Mark, who split off because Mark abandoned him, now they are back together as ministers of the gospel together, that the gospel brings reconciliation. Plus, we also see the Gospel of Mark, written by John Mark, same guy. We've got this restoration, maybe abandoning and a falling, but then a coming back, restoration, both with God and with each other. And that is the beauty of the gospel, that you can have Mark, who had abandoned him, come back and he say, if he comes to you, welcome him. So he wrote ahead, letting them know that if Mark comes, you've received instructions, you welcome him because he's with me. We're together.